Okay, guys, this is going to be the second half of, what do we start, 3.1? Yeah, this should be the second half of 3.1 that we're working on. So I want to kind of go back and just kind of pick up the last couple of points of what we did last time, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Page up, go up. Alrighty, so we did talk about quadratic functions. This is the beginning of quadratic functions. We talked about whether they concave up or down, which means whether they open up or down. We talked about the vertex. We talked about the max and the min. We talked about the axis of symmetry. Those are the things that we discussed last class for 3.1. In order for it to be called a quadratic equation, the highest exponent has to be a 2. Okay, anything else, it is not quadratic. Okay, so since we're doing the second half, we finished that. We talked about the DVD players, maximizing. Whenever you see the word maximize or maximum, you're gonna need Desmos to type it in so you can find the point at the tip top of the curve. Okay, so that's where we left off last time. So now this new section, this next section of the same 3.1, we're now going to find the vertex, only we're going to find it manually. In the previous one, you just typed the equation in Desmos, and you could see the point where it was either the tip of the point at the top of the curve or the bottom point at the bottom of the curve. Now, you can find out what the vertex is, that point at the top or the bottom, just by doing what we see on the screen. So I'm going to kind of give you an example that makes this make a little bit more sense. So I'm going to write it over here on the side of the board using the next example that you see on the PowerPoint. All right, here's the next example. Could I just type this in Desmos and find out what the vertex is?
Yes.
Of course I could, but that would just be too easy, right? So,
The decimal, how to set the x and y axis is my problem.
say the what now? How to put what?
When I'm getting decimals, how I'm going to fix the x and y axis on the sections?
On the screen, the settings. You just have to adjust the numbers. So there's numbers for the x-axis and there's numbers for the y. You got to play with them till you see what your picture looks like. So it is trial and error. When it comes to Desmos and you're trying to adjust your axis so you can see that point, you got to play with it and see what the numbers might be. Now what I do use is I do look at the numbers in here and kind of give a gauge. So I'll start with 0 to 20 for both the x and y, and then if I can't see anything, I'll go to 0 to 100 and keep playing with it until I find where I can actually see the picture. So now we're going to calculate the vertex by hand. Here's the first part. Well, let me ask you a question. Is the vertex a point? Yes, it is. So am I going to need an x and a y? Yeah, I'm looking for this. My vertex is going to look like that. So I need the x value for the x coordinate of the vertex, and I need the y value. All right, here's how you find the x coordinate. Well, in order to find it, I'm going to need an a and a b. Well, what do we say the standard equation of a quadratic looks like? Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. That's the standard form of a quadratic equation. Written like this, then what would a be?
3.
Okay, a is 3. What's b?
18.
And it's always the sign that is in front of it. So if that was a negative, it would be negative 18. And then c is always with the sign that's in front of it as well. So a is 3, b is 18, and c is negative 3. In this case, I only need the a and the b, right? Okay, so there's my negative sign. What am I putting in place of b?
Positive 18.
Positive 18 divided by what?
2 times.
So I got 2 times what?
3.
Alrighty, so the 18 and the 3 are in red because those are the numbers that I actually plugged in. I'm trying to find the x coordinate for that vertex. Alright, let's finish the math. Let's finish it. So I got negative 18 over what?
6.
And when I divide 18 into 6, what do I get? Alright, so I have just found the x coordinate of the vertex, which you said is negative 3. Alright, now I need the y coordinate. Well, the y coordinate, all you do is, well, let me rewrite this way. Y is equal to f of whatever the x value is. So what's the x value?
3,
-3. So in the place for the y, take that -3 answer that you just got and plug it into the original equation. When you're trying to find the y value, take the answer you got for x and plug it back into the original equation. So y is going to be equal to, I've got 3x squared plus 18 times x minus 3. So in the place of these x's, what am I going to put? -3. So I got a -3 here, and I got a -3 there. Now I'm just going to do the math. You should be able to put this in your calculator just like it is. I'm going to work it out just so we can see what happens. Well, I know -3 to the 2 power is 9. So that's going to be 3 times 9, 18 times -3. I'm just doing the math. You don't have to do it all the way out this way. You can put it in your calculator. 3 times 9 is 27, right?
yes.
Alrighty. 18 times 3, is that 54?
Yes.
Okay, so that's -54. -54. Alrighty, so I've got 27 minus 54, which should be a -27. And -27 minus 3 is -30. Ah, what's my y value over here for the vertex?
-30.
-30. So you would have gotten that same thing if you had just typed that equation in Desmos. It would have showed you that exact same point. So just to check it and make sure, let's actually go type it in Desmos to be sure. I'm going to type this exact same equation in Desmos so we can see that we will create the same exact. So here, let's go here. Here is Desmos. Delete that one. We said y is equal to 3x to the 2 power plus 18. Okay, come down, plus 18x minus 3. Alrighty, what's wrong with my window?
Too big.
Too big. So I'm going to hit the home button because it puts it back in its normal mode. That's what I'm going to hit first. Now, I still can't see the whole curve. Question, should this open up or down? Concave up or down? Why? A positive what? 3. Remember the A value is positive, so it's positive 3 should open up. So I can't see the bottom of my curve, so I'm going to go change my y-axis so I can see the bottom of my curve. Now remember I said look at the numbers that are in your equation. Well, 18 is the biggest number, and I don't have anything that's close to 18 on my x and y-axis. So go click on your wrench. And so we're going to go change my y-axis. I'm going to go change the numbers that tell me to do it longer this way. So I'm going to adjust these numbers here. My top number is okay. It's this number. It's not down bottom enough. So I'm going to go and make this, oh, let's see. I'm going to go -20. And does that let me see it? And if still not enough, then I'm going to go -40. Now can I see my point? Yeah. Let's erase this so we can actually see it on the screen. So, do you see how you had to adjust? Now, if you just click on this point right here, it'll tell you what it is. Is that the same answer we got?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess I was gonna say, since that's your minimum, the bottom of it, if you knew the vertex, which was -3 and -30, then you would know what to adjust your wrench with, wouldn't you?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, and what we were saying is we just wanted to check and see if we were right. We did it manually. We were just curious to see if we actually did it right.
Oh, okay.
So we were using it as a check, as a tool to check. But you're right, since you already knew it, then you could adjust your axis, x and y axis. So you know this had to be a 3, so you could make it 0 to -0 to -10 to -10. This you could make it -50 to +50. So again, yes, it does give you an idea of what you should make it, what x and y axis be. Alrighty, this is how you would do it manually. So for testing purposes, and I always say this, should you know how to do this manually for testing purposes? Yes. Okay? Questions? Okay, going back to the PowerPoint. Let's look at how this relates to real life. Alrighty. You have we didn't do this one, did we? I'm just trying to make sure.
Yes, we did.
We did, okay. Do we had another one where we did the ball, or was this one different? Am I recovering what we did?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you for being honest. All right, so here we go. Now that you know how to do it manually, here is the next part of this section. Vertex form of a quadratic equation. All right, what's the standard form of a quadratic equation? Well, it looks like y equals ax to the 2 power plus bx plus c. This is considered standard form. Okay? What you're getting ready to see is what we call vertex form. Why do we call it vertex form? Because the vertex is right in the equation. You don't even have to figure it out. It's literally in the equation, and it's always h, comma, k. That's always your vertex. So you're looking at those numbers, and those numbers are always going to be the vertex. The axis of symmetry is always whatever that x value or h, they're calling it h. So when it says vertex form, they're always going to call the vertex h, comma, k. You see it in the homework, they're going to call it h, comma, k. It's still an x and a y value, but they're going to call it h, comma, k. So whenever they say vertex form, these are the 2 letters of the alphabet that they're referencing for the vertex. Alrighty, bullet number 3, they're telling you, does it open up or open down? Well, is this number positive? Opens up. This number negative? Opens down. You got it? This number right here determines whether or not it's going to be open up or down. And it also tells you whether it's going to be a minimum or a max. So both of these tell you whether we're going to open up or down and minimum or max. You're only looking at the a value that's in the very front of the parentheses or to the left of the parentheses. Alrighty, so let's look at an example. Here we go. You have a curve, that's a graph. It says write the equation of the quadratic function shown in the graph. Okay, what's the vertex form of an equation that we just saw on the screen?
Y equals a parentheses x minus h parentheses squared plus k.
Okay, so this is what you're looking for. Now, in most cases, you don't need to know what the a is. So don't worry about it. As long as it's open up, you know it's positive, right?
Yeah.
So don't put a number for a right now. You'll learn what to do with a later. So all I want to know is whether it's positive or negative. Well, it opens up, so I know it's positive. So what I'm looking for you to tell me is, that's got to be an x. I need to know what h and k are. Well, where's the vertex at? There we go. Why is this number here? Yeah, it'll throw you off. If you're like, wait, am I supposed to be looking at that 4,0? It's an x-intercept, but it just put it there just to show you that it is the x-intercept, but it has nothing to do with the vertex. So the vertex was the 2, -4. So in the place here, and let me put this here. That's minus sign is part of the original formula. So you gotta put this minus and minus. I'm gonna fill in red the numbers that go in for h and k. So what am I putting in for h? 2. What am I putting in for k? Done. That's your equation. Quote, question. Do you see how you have to create the equation? Just plug the numbers in that they give you for the vertex and write your equation. So that's the equation that you would be expected to write as your answer in my math lab. You were going to ask me a question. What was it? Did I answer it?
I answered.
Okay. All righty. Make sure you keep up with this negative sign, because what if there had been a -2 right here? Look at the board for a second. What if this had been a -2? Would you have assumed that that negative is the same thing? No, it's not. You would have had to put a negative sign right there if that had been a -2 right here. So just kind of make sure you're thinking about that. This original black negative sign that you see is already a part of the original formula. So we'll do one so you can see what changes. All right, there's your equation for that quadratic function. There's the equation in vertex form. Okay? So you see that the vertex is 2, -4. All right, well, let's look at the next one. Tell me what the equation is of this one.
X minus 3 squared
Y equals x
minus 3 squared
minus 3 squared.
plus
It's a negative out front though.
And it should be a negative out front because it opens down. So I should have a negative here. Let me rewrite these in red. This is what I just plugged in. Okay?
So that sign is gonna depend on whether it's going up or down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If it opens down, it should always have a negative in the front.
So that's the answer? Or do
That's
we-
it. That's the answer. So all you have to do is look at whatever these two numbers are. They put this point here for no reason whatsoever. Alrighty, questions? Alrighty, here we go. Your turn. Give the coordinates of the vertex and then graph the function on a window that includes the vertex. Alrighty, so based upon what you know, alright, so this is vertex form, looks like this. I want to know what's the vertex, the point for this one. Tell me what the vertex is. Equation y equals parentheses x minus 1 to the 2 power plus 3. What's the vertex?
Negative 1, 3.
Aha, I knew I was going to get two separate answers. Which one is it? 1 comma 3 or negative 1 comma 3? 1 comma 3. The negative that you see right here is part of the formula. Remember, the vertex is h comma k. Okay, the negative sign is part of the original formula. Okay, so you agree with me for the first one. The second one is tricky.
Negative 10, comma, negative 6.
There you go. So here, you need to rewrite this one like this. X minus a minus 10 squared minus 6. That's how you ended up with a plus here, because I need to know where was my original minus sign. In the formula. And when they actually simplified it, it became positive. So if you rewrite this one with the negative sign, you'll see that my vertex is now going to be what? Negative 10, comma, negative 6. So to make it easy, when you see the x minus 1 or the x plus 10, the answer for the vertex is always going to be the opposite of what you see. So if that says negative 1, it's going to be positive 1. If that says plus 10, it's going to be negative 10. If that says a positive 8, the answer over here should be negative 8. Okay. So now I know my vertex is going to be negative 8, comma, 8. This number, that's your k value, will always stay whatever it is. If it's positive, it'll stay positive. Negative, stay positive. The only thing that looks like they will change will be whatever these are that are going to change when you convert it to a vertex. When you put it in the equation, you got to make sure you put it in the equation right. When you take it out and turn it into a vertex, make sure you also convert it right. Question? Alrighty. Now, if it says graph it, what do we do?
Put it there.
Don't type them in decimals. When it just says graph them, they just want you to type it in decimals. You already know where the vertex is, so you're going to see it when you get in there. So there's nothing crazy that you have to do with it. You literally just type it just like you see it in decimals. All right. Are all of these going to concave up or down? Up. All of them are going to concave up because there's positive in front of the first parentheses. There's nothing dramatic about this one. Questions? All right. That is the end of 3.1. Yes. Just like that.
So you were showing us, basically the coordinates
So if I said, tell me the vertex for this equation, you're going to say this. If I say, what's the vertex for this equation, you're going to say this one. If I say, what's the vertex for this equation, you're going to say this one. So that's what it's going to ask you to do. So we are finished 3.1. Before we jump into 3.2, because today's Wednesday, right? So we will do, because I don't want to move too fast, because I want to finish I'll get close to finishing chapter 3 next week, and then we got to think about tests. Did I tell you guys about tests? Did I mention tests last class?
Yeah, you said something about it.
I did say something. Okay, so let me just reiterate it just in case you forgot. So if I move right now, I can go straight into 3.2. I'm not going to. I want you to pull up the homework because I don't want to move too fast and I get too far ahead of myself. So we're going to go back to the homework right now. I'm not gonna jump into 3.2 because I wanna go back and make sure you're okay with the homework, for 3.1. So if you'll pull that up for me, I will do 3.2 on Friday. My plan right now is we will have finished half of the chapter 3, but the way we're rolling, we'll be finished half of chapter 3 by Friday. So this determines when your next test will be. I can give you the study guide, and you'll have the study guide for end of next week. And I'm just trying to think, then you'd have a test as soon as you get back.
From spring break.
Yes.
I forgot spring break.
Yeah, spring break starts next Friday. Not this Friday, next Friday starts spring break. So we will have finished chapter 3 by the time you get ready to leave for spring break. So I'm just trying to decide what day I'll give you the study guide. That means you'd have a test when you come back.
So when is our meet? We not gonna do it until?
We don't have a midterm test in this class. It's just whatever we have finished by the time the midterm grades go in. I forgot what the date midterm grades have to go in. So whenever midterm grades have to be in, I will put whatever grade you got in my math lab. So right now, if you look at your overall grade that's in my math lab, if you got a 95, I'm gonna put an A. And we don't get to put numbers. So you thinking that we actually get to put numbers in the computer? All I get to put is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I don't get to put nothing else. I don't get to put whether it was an 89.5 or a 92.6. It's just the A is an A. So whatever it says in my math lab, that's exactly what I'm gonna put in as your midterm grade. So by whatever date that is, if you got a B, I'm gonna put a B. If you got an A, I'm gonna put an A. Anything that you have not completed or you skipped because you missed it for whatever reason, nothing becomes a 0 until the end of the semester. So it's gonna assume that you're gonna go back and do it. So no zeros, nothing turns to a 0 until the end. So you could skip. You could have not done any of the quizzes. Let's say you haven't done any of the quizzes. None of them become zeros to the end of the semester.
You were able to open back up because they closed them.
All quizzes and homework will be reopened 7 to 10 days before the semester ends. 7 to 10 days before everything will be reopened. But I'm just saying that right now, you may think, oh, I got a 0 on the first quiz because I missed the first quiz. It won't become a 0 until the end if you choose not to do it. And then remember, I do drop 2 quizzes and 2 homework grades. So that just kind of said, but right now, everything is just based on what you have done. None of what you skipped. So if it says 85 and you ain't done no quizzes and then you know that's a fictitious 85, right? Okay, I'm just saying. All right. So with that said, let's go to the homework.
Can we work on 11?
Yes. So I'm gonna stop this because